2026 is shaping up to be one of the most important years in modern gaming. Not because of small updates or safe sequels, but because of bold projects that are pushing combat, storytelling and world design to the next level. Today we're looking at the first 3 games you absolutely should play in 2026. Of course, placed in the most realistic order of release based on current development cycles. These aren't just hype picks, these are games that each represent a major evolution of their genre. The first game you should be playing in 2026 is Nioh 3. If Team Ninja follows the same development rhythm they've used for over a decade, Nioh 3 is most likely the title on this list to arrive first. The original Nioh launched in 2017, Nioh 2 followed in 2020, and since then the studio released both Wolong and Rise of the Ronin. That places them perfectly on track for a major release in early 2026. Nioh is no longer just a Souls-like. It has become one of the deepest and most technical melee combat systems in gaming. The stand system alone already offers more mechanical depth than most full RPGs. And when you combine that with weapon variety, skill trees, yokai abilities and build customization, well, the result is one of the most demanding but rewarding combat experiences available. Nioh 3 is expected to be a major evolution of the formula. Where Nioh 2 still relied heavily on mission-based level design, the next step is likely to introduce larger connected areas or even semi-open environments. With the transition to full next-gen hardware, we can expect improved physics, more dynamic enemy interaction, larger scale battles and more cinematic storytelling. Team Ninja has already experimented with open structures in Rise of the Ronin, and Nioh 3 is the perfect franchise to merge that freedom with brutal precision-based combat. Nioh 3 earns its place on this list because no other action RPG delivers this level of mechanical skill, speed and build mastery. It's not just about surviving fights, it's about truly understanding the system at its deepest level. The second game you should absolutely play in 2026 is Resident Evil Requiem. Capcom is currently on one of the strongest creative runs in gaming history, I think we can all agree on that. Resident Evil 7 revived survival horror, Resident Evil 2 Remake redefined what remakes could be, Resident Evil Village expanded the series into action horror storytelling on a massive scale, and Resident Evil 4 Remake proved that even legendary titles can be rebuilt for a new generation.
They asked for Miss Ashcroft and then they hung up on me. Rude.
Resident Evil Requiem is expected to be the next mainline evolution of the franchise following Village. While the exact details are still tightly guarded, this game is wildly expected to move beyond isolated locations and return to bioterrorism on a larger, more global scale. Instead of a single villager mention, we're likely heading into the world that feels destabilized, dangerous and politically fractured by biological threats. This time the RE engine is fully matured for next-gen hardware. That means more advanced lighting, denser environments, realistic facial animation and likely seamless world transitions. Survival horror is no longer just about dark corridors. It's about tension across open spaces, intelligent enemy behavior and emotional storytelling driven by choice and consequence. Resident Evil Requiem makes this list because the franchise doesn't just survive, it constantly reinvents itself. This next entry isn't simply another sequel, it's positioned to define what horror survival looks like for the entire next generation.
Quite unique.
Tell me what's going on.
And the number 1 game you should play in 2026 is Crimson Desert.
Soaked in blood by the battles of those who seek peace and those who seek to shatter it.
Dude, I've been waiting a very long time for this game, and I've been watching every video they have released, every bit of gameplay, and it looks amazing. Crimson Desert is being developed by Pearl Abyss, the studio behind Black Desert Online, one of the most technically advanced game engines ever created for large-scale worlds. But Crimson Desert is not an MMO. It is a fully single-player open-world RPG built with a level of ambition that few studios ever attempt. This game is trying to merge cinematic storytelling, massive systematic open world design, advanced physics-based combat, dynamic weather systems and large-scale warfare into a single seamless experience. There are no publisher restrictions here, no shared IP limitations and no traditional design shortcuts. Pearl Abyss has complete creative control and they're actually using it. Combat in Crimson Desert is not static. You don't just roll and strike. You climb enemies, throw opponents across the battlefield, use verticality, manipulate terrain, and react to dynamic environments in real time. Battles can shift depending on weather, crowd behavior, and environmental destruction. The world itself reacts to conflict. Cities evolve, factions rise and fall, travel conditions change with the climate. This isn't scripted immersion, this is systematic immersion, where the systems themselves create the story. Crimson Desert earns the #1 position because it isn't even trying to be the best RPG of the year. It's trying to rewrite what open world RPGs can be on a technical and mechanical level. If even a portion of its vision is realized, it won't just compete with games like The Witcher 4 or Elder Scrolls 6, it will stand beside them as a new creative benchmark. So in realistic release order for 2026, that gives us Nioh 3 first, delivering unmatched combat depth and mastery, then Resident Evil Requiem, redefining survival horror for the next generation, and finally Crimson Desert, the most ambitious open world action RPG currently in development, closing the year with a potential industry-shaping release. 2026 won't be about casual experiences, it will be about precision, survival and skill. And these 3 games represent exactly where gaming is heading next.